Hello guys and welcome. So in this tutorial we're going to talk about some skin detailing techniques for character modeling in ZBrush. There are many workflows. I think the most popular one is actually going to be using Mari to project to get the best quality from a bunch of scan data. Uh, Unfortunately, we don't have Mari anymore because it's kind of like expensive. So we're gonna go over this time with some ZBrush technique. Okay, so we're still gonna use scanned data. So here, if you go to this website called Texturing XYZ, to follow this video, you have to purchase something here in this website. So what you do is you go to Skin and go to Face Displacement. And you go ahead and download this one. I'm using the Male 40s. Let's see, where is the one? Oh yeah, you can get this ultimate one. This one has a lot of different alphas, or you can just go get this one. I think this is the one I'm using. So Male 40s is going to be a collection of ZBrush alphas that you can use. Okay, for $29, it's worth the money. Okay. All right, once you have that, you go to ZBrush, okay, and you go to alphas, and then you import that. Let me see if you can get that directory real quick. So that's all the alphas, and just open that. Okay. All right, cool. So when you open all the alphas, you can see there's just a bunch of alphas. The good thing about it is that there is also a file inside of it which tells you like which alpha is for what area. That way it's easier for you to project. Okay, you can see now alpha 23, right, is for the cheek. So all you have to do is you pick alpha 23, which is this one, and you can just start dragging out that. Oh, actually you have to also change the stroke to drag rectangular, and then you drag it out. Yeah. Another problem is that when you drag it out, it's kind of like bumping everything out a little bit. So to fix that, you go to the alpha, and then you go to the modify, and there is a mid value here. You have to change that to 50 to tell it that the mid value is actually gray value instead of 0. So now if you drag it out, you can see you're getting a proper result. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do here is first of all lay out a basic skin detail across the face. Just to be safer, I'm going to go to layers and then create a new layer and name this layer base skin. Okay. And then we can sculpt. And make sure that you also have enough poly count. I have like 6 million for the body. Okay. And I actually have many other parts already projected. You can also purchase like skin detail for the hand and other areas. Okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna Control Shift and grab the face so that we can just, you know, isolate the face area. The performance would be better. Okay. Anyway, so for the intensity, you can keep it in whatever value you want it to be because we can tweak it later on. Hopefully my layer is okay. I cannot change the layer when I'm isolating stuff. That's fine. I'm still sculpting on that layer anyways. Alright, so let me zoom in and then start drawing out the detail here. As you can see, make sure that you have the correct direction. So make it stronger so that you can see what you're doing. I think that's really helpful. Alright, cool. So that's one of them. And then we can just move on to different areas. If I want to move to the cheek, that's alpha 22. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. I mean, not the cheek, the cheekbone somewhere here. Okay, and drag it out. You can see what it does. Okay, a little bit too high. Maybe go lower there. Okay. All right. I'm moving on down to alpha 21. That's gonna be here. So drag it out. Right. Trying to avoid having too much overlapping. Okay, and also be mindful of the direction of the wrinkles you're dragging out. Okay, And then we have 19. Just down here. Okay. And then we have, let's see, 18 and 17. 18 is here, 17 is here. So let me try that. It may take a few tries to get the correct positioning. Sometimes I'm not sure if I'm getting it quite right, so I need to redo. But this is still much better than trying to sculpt everything yourself, right? And also for the middle one, you can actually turn off the symmetry. So you can just sculpt out the detail. Okay. Now I would recommend you to make it stronger than it needs to be, because when you use, especially when you're using subsurface scattering, this will become weaker anyways. So it's better to make them stronger. And you can also tweak the intensity in the layer later on to determine how strong they are later on, so you don't have to worry about it too much intensity-wise. The important thing is you see what you're doing, so that's why I make it stronger. So let me go ahead and grab the 15, right? And then that's gonna be here. And there's 14 over there. I don't think I really need that anymore. I just have everything here anyways. Let's see, maybe 14 in the middle. Okay. All right. And then what else? We have 20 for this area. You drag it out. Okay, and for those empty area, there's two options. One thing you can do is you can use Dam Standard to just blend them together nicely by drawing some lines. Okay, that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is you can use just one of the brushes to fill in the gaps. Okay, I feel like using like Dam Standard or other brushes to blend in will give you some more imperfection result, so that it just it may feel a little bit better than just trying to blend a lot of similar alphas together. So sometimes I use that instead of using an alpha. But you could also, if you feel like alpha is easier, right, you can still use those alphas. Then I can use so 22 is actually pretty good for other areas, so that's what I use to fill in the empty area. Okay, all right. Oh, forget to turn on symmetry here. So let me go back to 20 and just draw this one out also over here. Okay, and then 22 for this one. Okay, and then Dam Standard and to have some blending over here. And to enhance some of the weak areas. Okay, we'll have to deal with those later on also to add some more imperfections, right? So, yeah. Now moving on to the nose, and also I don't really worry about too much about the lips. I have my own workflow for the lips. I could smooth those guys out, or I can leave them here for now. Okay, so let's move on to the nose. So nose is 25, so this guy here. I just drag it out. Not sure which orientation do I have, so maybe I drag it out here and take a look. It's hard to tell. Okay, maybe just like this. It's a little bit too big. All right. And you can see stretching over here too, so you have to be really careful about where you're dragging it. Okay. And then maybe one more here, just to repeat that. Okay, and then we have 24 here. You can see what it does, right? Let me turn on symmetry It's a bit too close to the middle, so I need to kind of wanted to land those wrinkles to the valley here. That way they're matching properly. Yeah, let's just make them a little bit bigger, I guess, and then maybe a bit lower. Okay. And then we have the eyebrow parts. So we have number 4 over here in the middle. Okay, and then we have it's a bit too big, so something smaller. And then number 5 and number 6. Turn on symmetry because I want to save some time. And this one, I think this little line should be at the bottom. I see some line here. I think that's some imperfection in their alpha. Number 6 goes to here. You can clearly see the pattern, right? And yeah, and number 3 is in the middle on top. That's when you see like you don't have enough resolution to represent that. Okay, so you can just accept that, or you can subdivide it to get more resolution. That's the limit of ZBrush, and that's when Mari actually shines more. You can use Mari to project detail, and that detail will be exact the resolution of the texture, and that's much better than ZBrush. The downside of ZBrush is the limitation of the poly count. So for the rest, I'm gonna use 22 to just fill in. Turn on the symmetry here. Okay, maybe too big. Make it smaller. And for the head and any other areas, 22 is pretty good because it has a generic shape. It doesn't have a lot of recognizable pattern or anything. It's just a very skin-like noise. So I use it in other empty areas, the rest of the head. Okay, some of the areas you don't really have to like create a lot of details because you don't really see them, like the back of the head anyways. So you probably don't have to worry too much about that. Okay. All right. Now also make sure that you do have the proper UV, because my workload does actually relies on the UV a little bit. You'll see that later on. Okay. For now, the first step again is we project the skin detail on the surface of the model. Okay. All right. So when we're happy with this, we can then save the file and then moving on to the next video. We're gonna actually get this into a displacement map so we can preview this while sculpting other detail. Okay, see you next time.